It is showtime. There we go. Oh, I forgot my hat.
Oh no!
Oh no.
Oh, we'll need to pause. We'll need to pause. We can't.
People won't know who I am.
Mike with the hat. Who's Mike?
I know. You see
Who's just Mike?
my distinct lack of hair.
We're all getting thin. We're all getting thin.
You've got a long way to go before that thins out. Jesus.
You know what? My hair went like this. So where it is, it kind of receded up to here. It went like that when I was like 18. And my sister, who's a hairdresser, and she used to always cut my hair back then. All of my dad's family, my dad had four. Was there four boys? Yes, I think there was four boys in the guy. Yes, the founding family, but they were all bald, like in their 20s. And she's like, "Oh, here we go. You're going to be the same as dad." And I was like, "Fuck!" To be told that at 18, I was just like gutted. But that's as far as it went. And then I think my mother's hair genes kicked in because everybody on my mum's side, and my uncle Alan, who had a full head of white hair when he died in his 80s or whatever, he still had a full head of hair. So I've kind of, my mum's hair genes clearly kicked in.
So if you're just joining in, we're not here to talk about hairdos and receding hairlines, although it may come back later on in the conversation. Welcome everyone to our first blether of the new year. We just kind of thought, let's come on, let's have a wee review of last year. Let's have a catch up between ourselves and mostly with you guys. What have you been up to? We're going to have a wee dig into the past of our favourite whiskies of last year. Nice wee hidden secret surprises, discoveries, distilleries. So anytime, anything you want to add? What's your favourite whiskey of 2022? Yeah. What's been a standout distillery or indie bottler that's really kind of wowed you? And it'd be good just to get some feedback from you guys as well. It doesn't have to be from our shop. It can be from any of the indies or anywhere you've experienced whiskey, or gin, or rum, or whatever. Let us know some of your highlights of the year. Good to see a lot of guys jumping on. We've got Ian already on on YouTube, chatting away. Keith Duncan, aye, loons, fit like. So fit like yourself, Keith. Good to have you on. He's got our Thrusk poured. Is that the shop exclusive or Thrusk you've got there? I've got an Thrusk here, but it's not our own one. I've opted for another.
The Mossburn.
The Mossburn. I have got. I must have been saving it for this very occasion. I've got not that much left. That's one of my whiskies of the year.
A little sneak peek of the awards there for you, yeah. Well, fantastic. Thanks for joining us, James. He's sitting in Phoenix Airport as we speak.
Oh, excellent.
Oh gosh, what time of day is it over there then, James? It must be
8 hours.
Afternoon or late morning. Yeah.
Whenever it is, it's not too early to have a dram. So pour yourself one and enjoy then. We've got David, upside dude heads. Well, certainly me. I'm not sure if Russell's quite at that stage yet, David. Certainly me. It's a sign of a hard life, I think, stress.
It's a sign of wearing a hat. Do you know what? Wearing a hat actually makes it worse. People start wearing hats because they're thinning out, and then the hat actually continues. We're back on hair here, guys. We need.
I know.
Enough of hair.
Hair today, gone tomorrow. Yeah. It's probably because it doesn't get enough sun. But, I mean, this bit. So I've got a wee scar here from a car accident I had when I was about 25. And I'm pretty much claiming that the rest of it is just sympathy spots. That's my excuse. We've got Ross Jolly. I don't think you've ever seen me without a bonnet. I don't know. I don't think I've done a leather without one. Certainly. It's. I feel weird now that I've mentioned it that I don't have it. It's like having a bath with your socks on. You know, there's something not quite right about it.
You've not got some staff there that can go and retrieve it for you.
Oh, well, it'll take her all day to get up the stairs. So who else have we got online? Richard Drew had an half a fine pint at the Black Bull in Inverurie in 2022. I'm delighted to hear it. Hopefully you'll be in for some fine pints again in 23.
You get a rare pint at the Bull, Richard.
So for those who don't know, we also have a pub in Inverurie, the Black Bull Inn. So if you're ever in, visit us in the shop. nip up to the pool and get an half a fine pint as rich as we've got a lot of Doric coming through, a lot of the Aberdonians in Fars the Bunnet, half a fine pint, fit like. God, the the auto text on YouTube's going to be going mental. Yes, David, get your socks off. You're obviously in the bath.
Brilliant.
So Ian, the bottle he bought, so Ian's on YouTube, bottle he bought in 2022, but only picked up last week. Springbank 11-year-old, duty paid sample, colleague got from Campbelltown. When you ask for the standard 10, that's a pretty big step up, I'm
Indeed.
pretty sure. Is that one that you're going to crack open, Ian? Let us know what you think of that. Yeah, so yeah, let us know what your favourite drams are. We've got Keith Duncan. It is our Muddy McDavid dram that Keith's opened up. And we have our wee special guest joining us. He's just logged on. So it's not just me and Russell you've got to contend with tonight. We are going to introduce. Well, has she been on a Blether before? She's certainly been on the chat.
Definitely on a tasting.
We did the tasting with Ronan. Yeah.
Glenalty with Ronan. Yeah.
So let's bring in.
She'll let us know herself if this is her Blether debut.
Is this a Blether debut for you, Kat?
No, she's going to do an Ian Logan.
Yeah, she's just sitting there. Kat, you're live.
Here she goes.
Is she?
Oh.
Like, my internet is pants, so like I'm on like a 10-minute delay. It's like being in Australia or like on Eurovision.
On Eurovision. So, okay. Can you hear us now? Are you pretty quick now? Have you got up to speed? Let's do a delay test. Yeah, that is a long gap.
Here we go. Yeah.
So yeah, I can hear you, but you guys are both frozen in the most ridiculous. Like, I'm going to take a picture of this because like it's really funny. So your faces are frozen, but I can hear you fine.
Oh dear. So we might. I'm just thinking if we carry on regardless and get Kat to jump in on the chat perhaps. Because it's just in waiting for.
Can somebody not go outside and stand up with a router out in the garden or something? Just.
Yeah, I don't think it's that. I think she's jumped on a phone hotspot. Is the issue?
That's the problem.
But
I'll
listen,
sit quietly and smile.
Listen, I
And
tell
then
you,
like nod sometimes.
even before we go any further, this is an awful lot better than our connection we had with Gordon Bruce at Knockdo. So we managed to painfully make that last for about half an hour before we gave up. So this is a big improvement.
Okay, so who have we got? So we've got online. Oh, there we go. No. So we have we've got Kat sitting quietly. Just she could be the glam girl. She can sit there, look pretty, and me and Russell will do the talking. Because that's all I could think of to say at the time. Okay, Ian Bruce, he's already opened his Springbank, Belated Hogmanay, fantastic, only 60 quid. That's about the price of the 10-year-old anyway now, isn't it?
Yeah.
The core range is about 55.
Yeah.
No, maybe no, it was £45. The finest distillery would be a visit to Balblair and a peek in at Glendronach.
Dornoch
has the great SRV5. Yeah.
Dornoch.
David is on a mystery dram from Muddy McDavid. A cat with big paws. Fair enough.
A cat with a big paws.
Cat with big paws. Yeah.
Yeah.
Why the big paws?
I'm glad you stopped at paws.
You swapped to what?
I'm glad you stopped at paws and not just big anything else.
Hair. You've got big hair. You've got more hair than me and Russell put together anyway.
Oh God, yeah.
Here.
Yeah. So Russell, let's dram of the year or what's been your...
Okay, yeah. So quite a tricky one actually. One thing that actually came up to me was actually trying to remember what drams were actually released this year, because the Little Brown Dog's Tormore was certainly one that was a dram of the year for me, and it was a Tokai cast, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But I can't remember if that was this year or not.
It was, yeah.
Okay, so I've got kind of three that kind of fall into dram of the year. Little Brown Dog, Tormore definitely would have gone there, and we'll continue on that theme with our own mystery Highland. Those three words, Lerathel, that we did with the Little Brown Dog as well, which is absolutely superb. Don't know if any of the guys have had a chance to taste it or try some. Absolutely fantastic. Second to that would be, and you've got this as well, Mike. So the handful. So it's not coming up there.
Yeah.
The handful from Arbanochen.
That's right. That was very close to making my three for tonight.
Lovely. Oh, just a fantastic dram, and belies its age at 6 years old. And the other one that just kind of snuck in there for me, because it's been my favourite go-to dram in any pub. If I see it behind the bar, usually always take it. People know my thoughts on a Craigellachie being the kind of Chris Eubank sort of refined, punchy dram out there. So I picked up a 17-year-old the other day myself, and this is absolutely brilliant. I've got to be very careful I don't just scoof it down. I feel like just putting a straw in it. Such a good dram.
Yeah.
So I think those three, along with the Little Brown Dog Tormore, it's really difficult to choose one.
I think it's impossible to choose one.
Yeah,
I would challenge anyone to pick one and say, can you honestly, hand on heart, say this is my favourite of the year? You could maybe have a favourite sherry cask or a favourite cask strength or a favourite port cask or something, or a favourite peaty whiskey, but then the weather changes or you wake up in a different mood and say, well, actually, I remember having this through conversation. You'll remember drams that you'd forgotten that were out that last year and be like, can't remember, I forgot that was out last year. Oh, that's got to be my top five or whatnot. It could be you could spend all year talking about your favourite dram from the year before.
I know. It's like, oh, that was a 2021 dram. Oh, was it? Oh, really? Okay. Still like it.
So I noticed Kat had the floating Little Brown Dogs. I think that was the shop octave as well, was it, that we had there? Unfortunately, all gone. You've got more than I have. I'm not sure. I'm trying to think if I did keep a bottle of that or not, or if I drank it. I think we sculled it on our staff night out. Sorry, we pleasantly enjoyed it on our staff night out.
We were at one point drinking it out of hotel mugs in Glasgow as well.
Of course, yeah. We took it down to the was it the pot still we ended up in? And
did you not donate some to the pot still?
Yeah, we left it behind the bar for Frank and the team to enjoy. Yeah. Ian's agreeing with you. So much so he's agreed with you twice. That Craigellachie is really nice.
I'll nominate it again.
Is that double matured, is
it? Yeah.
Well, I just poured one of my top three. I've got three that I would rave about. Mossburn or Thrusk, and a red wine Bordeaux cask. Absolute. It's just juice. It's really like blackcurrant juice. As you say, stick a straw in it and suck it. 46%, 14-year-old. Absolutely sublime. So that's what I've poured. That certainly goes in there as a kind of summary, quaffable, enjoyable dram. I can't not mention the wee mongrel in terms of value for money.
I did look at that before I kind of came downstairs. It was sitting there and I thought, was that on the list? And I thought, there's just so many. So yeah, it's a cracker as well.
Yeah, 50 quid for a 19-year-old, fully matured sherry cask, finished by the guys at Little Brown Dog. They know quality when they see it, and thankfully they always try and keep it at a really good price as well, so everyone can afford it. And it just flies. It's got that, and managing to not only live up to the first wee mongrel and then surpass it. In my opinion, surpass it by quite a distance.
Quite some way. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, the first one was great. Lots and lots of lovely sherry flavours. Second one was just chocolate in a glass.
Yeah,
just incredible.
So we had some fun in the lead up to the launch about sequels that were better than the original. And this is certainly for me like a Terminator 2 or an Aliens over Alien, just full of action compared to the original. And my last one is Woody's Mortlach 12-year-old. And I remember when I first tried it, I was tasting it. Woody sent up some sample bottles to review before we brought in the bottle to the shop, and I was sitting on my kitchen floor next to the puppies. We just had a litter, and they were maybe a day old or 2 days old, so kind of 24-hour supervision. And I poured it and I left it, and then I kind of tended to them, came back and I smelt it, and I was just like, oh my god. And for the guys who were at the first Whisky Academy that we had in March, when Tori had her orange cake and we poured this cream sherry over it, it just took me back there. So sweet, so juicy, but lots of kind of orange in there as well. And I said there, so this would have been out about September-ish, I think, October maybe. So maybe got a day. Yeah, bottled October. So kind of we probably would have had it middle October, and it was just sublime. And I said then it was probably the sherry cask of the year. But then Little Brown Dog came out with Mongrel, and I'm like, oh well. So that's probably my three. There will be more, guys. If there's any that you've enjoyed, we've got Ross coming on with the Glenallachie, the peated bourbon handful. Yeah, that's a peated bourbon that is intensely dark. I think, isn't it? It's got that kind of colour to it for a bourbon cask. And Glenallachie have popped up with a couple of them. That's how he gets that colour in there is awesome.
Magic. It's the Billy Walker magic. That's what it is.
Yeah, just waves his wand and.
That's right.
Nothing better than sitting on the floor with puppies. I don't think there is actually, David. There's absolutely not. So that's our drams. Kat, do you have some drams of the year that we can discuss? I might pop out and have a cup of tea while you're waiting for the stream to catch up for your answer.
Cheeky bugger.
I'm terrified of saying anything. Like by the time I finish a sentence, like you'll all gone home.
You're all good so far.
Is it working? Is it caught up?
Yes,
you're pretty quick.
Okay. I'm really bad for like trying stuff at the shop and then forgetting what it was I tried. But I like this one. This is good. Yeah. And on a bias note, the single cask from Glengarry, 1991. I love that one, and it's gone. And the Williamson one that you had for the Woodrow, that was really, really good.
The Woodrow, yeah.
The Freud, yeah.
The frazzles and bacon fries. Yeah, yes. Superb. We've got that on our lineup tomorrow night for our peated whiskey Isla tasting. We're doing the Williamson for that. So if anyone is on that, that's certainly one to look out for. So some good choices there as well. I also like the Glengarry rum cask that you launched at the Rare Fair. Glengarry launched it at the Rare Fair. Phenomenal.
That's good. It's a bit exciting to get something different that's not just sherry and bourbon. We were like so excited.
It is rum. We need more rum casks. Certainly from a shop point of view, because everyone knows the Caribbean cask from Balvenie, don't they? And it's a favourite, rightly so, for a lot of guys. But try to get an alternative, because that's not always available. And let's try a rum cask.
There's not many come in. I mean, Ben Riach have got which one is it? It's one of the 10 or the Smoky 10 or the 12 or the Smoky 12 that's got rum.
Yeah, there's some rum in there.
And we did a fantastic Carn. Was it a Glen Grant?
The Glen Grant, yeah, the Carnmore.
That was a rum finish as well this year, which looked really interesting.
Yeah.
There's not a lot coming through.
They've still got what? Oh, the Glen Scotia they did a double cask in rum, didn't they? Yeah. David just brought that one out. The very sweet. Again, limited edition. We need a core rum, and we're not going to go into that blooming Caribbean Reserve or whatever it's called.
Yes.
I've never tried it actually. I maybe cut my nose off to spite my face there, but it's maybe perfectly good if anyone has tried it.
I want to identify the place. I don't know the lady's name, but I certainly want to. But it's a pub that I've been into this year, and one of the regular staff there, her favourite dram was the Glenlivet Caribbean. So that was wonderful. So there's definitely people out there who really enjoy it.
Yeah, it's maybe worth a look at. Maybe
I've
being a bit snobby there.
I've not actually tried a Glenlivet for such a long time.
No.
Just when you move away from the supermarket, you seem to move away from Glenlivet and Glenfiddich. You kind of almost forget that they're there.
They're almost victims of their own success in that regard, aren't you? Because you want to try something different, and then you spend so much time trying different things that you forget what the normal is. And
well, actually, Glenlivet and Glenfiddich would be very different for me now.
yeah, exactly. But jumping on, I say it quite often, especially when we're doing a tasting or a course or whatnot. Just next time you're in a pub, you say Glenfiddich, just give it a bash and realize how good a dram it is, because it is. It's wonderful, really, really good. There's a reason why it's so popular and sold all over the world and wins lots of awards. It is a really good, but you look in and you think, I could get that anytime, or I've got a bottle at home, or and that bottle at home has been sitting there for probably 10 years, unloved, gathering dust, because it's a bottle that you'll just crack open when there's a zombie apocalypse and there's nothing else left.
Or you end up taking it with you to give to somebody as a gift, and first fitting or something.
Well, I don't like that. Nobody doesn't like that. So Charlie Dodds has jumped on his favourite. We've got the Lady of the Glen, Lechick Tawny Port. I don't think I managed to try that one.
No, I don't remember seeing it either, actually.
We did have it in. Or was that the latest? Because we didn't take in the last quarter of Lady of the Glen.
That's maybe one of the latest batches in there.
Yeah. But the Woodrow's Mortley. I have to agree with it.
Yeah. Ian's mentioned the Jura rum cask, which of course I'd kind of forgotten about. Had it on a lineup for a tasting. Must have been late autumn. It went down really well that night. Obviously, I was driving, so I wasn't able to sample, but on the night it was favourable. Yeah.
A few comments about Glenlivet's there. The Ian saying the Glenlivet is okay. I'd take it the Caribbean one, and David Muir saying he's had a few, but his taste has matured. I'll tell you, if you ever go to Glenlivet Visitor Centre, they do the Loyal Distiller's Choice, the V50CL cast strengths. I've never had a bad one of that. Then you get quite a good range. There's Glenlivet, Glentalkers, Scapa, all the kind of Chivas bottles, and they're always.
They're not cheap though.
No, you're looking at about £90, $95 for
50 CLs. Yeah.
But they are usually pretty banging.
Charlie, didn't they do this all good as well?
May, Russell. You're tasting in May that it's your Caribbean cast from Jura. Charlie's on the ball. He's
no. It was a shop. It was a shop one. I think Charlie's maybe meaning the Lejeune.
All right. Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Did we do a Lady of the Glen tasting in May?
God.
You're testing the grey matter here.
Charlie's word for it. Yeah. Because Paul was in the shop, and we did a hybrid.
That's right.
Yes.
That's right. Yeah.
There we go. So that probably, if it was in May, would have been the first quarter of last year.
Well, I wasn't there that night, so you need to be remembering that one. No?
Yeah. No, I remember now, because Paul was certainly in the room. I thought that might have been maybe Christmas, 2020, but 21, but maybe not. So what's been your highlight of the year in terms of whiskey? It could be a new discovery of an indie bottler. It could be a place you've visited. It could be a tasting that you've held or attended. Go for it, Russell. We'll ask you first.
Oh gosh, well, just going slightly back, dipping back into the last one about Dram of the Year, and I'd completely forgotten. When I think about Dram of the Year, I tend to think about a bottle that I've discovered and I've really enjoyed and I've worked my way down. But the last year, 2022, September, was when I tried the Dram of a Lifetime, and that was the distillery. Bert Forsyth, wasn't it, the manager, Glenglassaugh manager, 42-year-old refill hogshead that I still can't actually put words to describe because it was just indescribable. I mean, I'll choose polite words, but bloody marvelous would be a polite way of saying it, and there could be much stronger expletives to explain how good it was. Just absolutely incredible.
I mean, that lineup was just wow.
Yeah. So yes, I mean that, and I guess part of the academy as well, just the discovery of getting around Glenglassaugh, being able to go inside that distillery and just feel the atmosphere in there. It's incredible. A sleeping giant, an ugly duckling. It's just waiting to mature into its full swanness, but every now and again it lets you see just how beautiful it is with the spirit that comes out of there.
Yeah, we had Guy was in just at the end of just when we were locking up tonight before coming home, and we had a chat about Glenglassaugh, and it's one of these distilleries that I don't think Brown-Forman know what they're doing with it yet.
No, I don't think anybody really knows.
They don't know what kind of direction, but I mean, Billy obviously had a vision and a plan for it. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see where that is, but there's news with Glenglassaugh coming out very soon. I unfortunately I don't think it's a visitor centre kind of opening up style news. I think it's going to be a new release.
Yeah.
So looking forward to that. But on that dram that you were talking about, the Bert Forsyth, is that the one that Willis said he doesn't want to drink another whiskey for the rest of his life?
That's right. Yeah, he's commented. He's commented. He's totally agreeing with me. But yeah, that's exactly what he said. It's like basically take me now. I don't need to taste another whiskey ever. This is it. This is the pinnacle.
Yeah, we found Nirvana next to Sand End Beach. Stuart Buchanan in the room, who I know you've got a complete man crush on.
Oh well, who wouldn't? Well, Cat would have a girl crush, but yeah, no, total man crush. Stuart's he's just so enigmatic and just brilliant, and as a proper handsome so and so.
No, he hasn't quite got the edge of you, Russell, yet, though. Like, no.
He's no Hoff.
He's not quite the Hoff.
No Northern Hoff.
Thank you, Kat.
I'll just keep stroking that ego for you.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think my highlight of last year was that second Academy being at Glenglassaugh when those drams came out was just the lineup. I think 3 drams, and there was about 130 years of whiskey sitting there, and it was just incredible. But we'll come round to the Whisky Academy later on tonight. But Kat, what's been your highlight of the whiskey world?
It's hard because I don't want to talk about my other job, so I'll have to try and think what I do. What my highlights been?
It can be about Glengarry. There's nothing wrong with.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's absolutely nothing wrong with
if they allow you to speak about it. That's the only thing.
I don't know, like paratroopers might come in and like gag me.
We're not talking about your fantasies already, Kat. Come on, that's a different line.
If I'm lucky. No, I think it was actually when you guys came over to Glengarry and we did the new make session. I thought that was fantastic. I really enjoyed that. I've never really got into new make like that, and to see how a spirit evolves with just little tweaks here and there. And like listening to Quinelli, like Dr. Meduli, he's a ledge. So I think that was a highlight. Yeah,
it's that's like proper geek out territory, that new make tasting. And we're delighted as part of the academy to be able to have that as a kind of wee exclusive, especially with Quinelli there. Kanye, as we would like to refer to him as.
He loves that, by the way. He absolutely loves it.
I was thinking he'd be starting to distance himself from that, but no.
He insists on it, to be honest. And attractive downlighting when we talk to him now as well. It's gone to his head.
I love the photo of it. Was it the first Academy we took the photo? And he's sitting like this, and it looks like he's part of the picture. He's like framed.
Oh, yeah.
And his portrait is on the wall. It's absolutely brilliant. I didn't realize. I think it was one of the guys who mentioned it. He looked like a portrait of him on the wall. It's brilliant. So guys, we've got a couple of the guys who were in the academy at home watching. We've got David and Willis. Fire through your highlights of the the Academy. We might talk a wee bit about that as well. Good evening, Alistair. Welcome along to our Blether. Nice to see you. That must be the kids put to bed. Hopefully you've managed to crack open a wee dram, maybe a Kubochen, perhaps, at home. I love that. Creation 3 Kubochen for me has been an absolutely fantastic dram. I think it was 21 that came out, so we can't class it in tonight's Blether, but an absolutely stunning. And I think looking forward to 23. I think there's going to be more from Kubochen coming out that is going to get people really excited. I know the 15-year-old has gone down really well in recent tastings of the guys who've had it. So hopefully there's some really exciting stuff there coming out as well. Murray McDavid, Glencadam 9. Didn't get a chance to try that one. Willis, he's got the Glencadam 9-year-old, and we pretty much try every Glencadam we can get our hands on at the whiskey shop. We've been taking quite a lot of it. So I'm gutted to have missed that one. I think we had. Did we have the Glencadam? I don't think we did we? We didn't take the. We did the Glencadam.
I think we did.
Did we have it in?
Oh, it's again. It's just so hard to remember because no, I think we did. Did Willis not buy it from us? No.
Maybe we did.
No. Because I'm thinking it was after we had Ben. The people were buying the Money McDavid bottles. Who knows? Willis, you better remind us again. Where did he get it from? Was it us? Because if it was, then we definitely had it.
No mention in the other shops. Just say it wasn't from us.
It wasn't from us. Oh, so, okay. Yep.
The Donadeer.
The Ardmore, yeah.
The IWS Murray McDavid bottle is superb. Can't forget that. Our Thrusk. Yeah, Ian, I have to. Willis did get it from us. The Ian's again on YouTube saying our Thrusk from Murray McDavid shop exclusive, and yeah, going back to the Glenfiddich kind of ideas, because we see it every day and we kind of use it in a lot of tastings. We forget our own shop exclusives. Obviously not the Little Brown Dog because it kind of came and went very, very quickly.
Well, that was another highlight of the year as well. Though I mean, for me, if you think about it, that actually was last year because we went up to have a day in Speyside just to tie up a few loose ends for the first Academy in March, and we that day up in March, that day February, where Tony drove us up, and we met Jill at the cooperage, and then we went along to meet
Dean
at the Colburn to choose the bottle. So at that stage we weren't aware of how much it was actually going to become part of our Academy as well. It really was just to go along and have a wander through the warehouse, which is awesome. If you ever get a chance to go into the Colburn warehouse, I think they sometimes do it as part of Spirit of Speyside. I'm not 100% sure on that, but that's a ticket that you have to buy to get to go in there. It's a proper who's who warehouse. We were fortunate to try 9 different samples that day.
9, it would have been 9, yeah.
Or any one of which we could have actually taken and quite happily put the Inverurie Whisky Shop label on it and have it under our name. We went for their Thrusk in the end, which we really just did to kind of play with people's ability to pronounce distilleries. That was the only reason we chose it. So
I'm just going to say cheerio to James. He's now boarding, so have a great day. Have a safe flight.
Bon voyage, James.
Yeah. Alistair, I have all this putting kids to bed. Yeah. I'm not looking. Well, yes, I am looking forward to that. Of course, I'm looking forward to that. For those who don't know, we are expecting a baby in March. So the next drummer is on his way, and so all that to look forward to, putting kids to bed. And
Cat will agree with me. Nothing's going to change, Mike. It's just going to be exactly the same. You'll be fine.
Well, I'm hoping so.
Babies have no negative.
Nothing. They're just every day's a joy.
They're just like puppies, aren't they? You just made sure they're fed and exercised.
Just exactly same as a puppy. Just
a couple of chew toys.
Yeah, that's right.
But you can't sell them after 12 weeks, can you?
Apparently that's frowned upon. But times are changing. You get away with the not declaring 3 million in tax these days. So selling your kids probably it's probably fine. You know, I'm afraid.
Yeah, if I can let it choose its gender or let it identify as a puppy instead of a human, then we could do that. Yeah.
You know, it probably already exists, to be honest.
Probably, yeah. David, expensive wee buggers. Well, David, I know you're not short of a bob or two. You can maybe pay for it.
Well, that was one of the major discoveries of 2022 as well. Of course, was just discovering the loft.
Mm-hmm.
Dave's loft, this mythical, which I'm very pleased to say I've actually now visited. It's.
Does he do tours? I didn't know he was open for tours.
He does tours. Yeah, he does tours. If you're on your way back from Ardnamurchan with a bottle of handful, he'll take you up to the loft.
Right.
Like
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Kat, what was that?
Is it like the house that doesn't exist, Russell, at Glendronach?
No, it actually doesn't. No, Dave's loft does exist, and so did that house.
I was going to say, is it like the house that doesn't exist at Glendronach?
Yeah.
You know, the one you're going to move into and never existed?
It does. It did. It did exist. I'm going to find a bloody photograph of that house. It did exist. And Dave's loft actually definitely does exist.
Ian's asking if there's going to be a whiskey-themed baby name. I have no idea. We have not got anywhere near naming. We call him Bob just now.
Bob.
That won't be his name. Bob or Weeshite, one of the two. I'll probably at the risk of being castrated or murdered by Tony. Let's ask the audience. Let's have some whiskey themed names for baby Bob, and I'll pitch it to her and see if any of them make the grade. There you go. Good evening, Chris Grieve. That's him popped his. I was going to say his dog's in bed. His bairn's in bed.
His puppies are in bed. That's it.
Great stuff. So I'll start off the next round of questions of 2022, and it's probably going to come as no surprise. Indie Bottler of the Year for me has got to be these guys. Although we only took them in October the first time. It's been an absolute. I don't think I've done a tasting. We did a virtual tasting. Woody came on because with a lot of indie bottlers we bring in, it's good to kind of have a little. Not just for us as a shop to get to know them, but also a wee showcase and give people confidence, because if it's new, not everyone's always going to be 100% behind buying a bottle. So try to get a tasting. So we did a virtual tasting with 6 of these drams, and I don't think I've had such a accomplished kind of feedback where every single dram was at that level. It was absolutely phenomenal. I'm sure if we cherry pick, we go back and cherry pick drams from indies, we could probably do similar. But he only had 6 releases at the time that we did that tasting, and everyone got there. So for that reason, I'm probably my surprise discovery or my best discovery, and as an indie bottler. And he did a little virtual tour of the warehouse as well. And there's going to be some phenomenal stuff coming out. After we did the tasting, he took out the Glenallachie as well, which is right up there. So Woody, I don't think your whiskey is pish. I think it's absolutely phenomenal.
Was it somebody said that? Because I saw something.
I don't know. I did ask him, and he never replied.
Yeah.
But there was a theme, a running theme in all these posts. He was like, "Oh yeah, Inverurie Whisky Shop don't think my whiskey's pish, and Mark and Turris doesn't think my whiskey's pish." I was like, "Okay, I think somebody's a raw nerve by using the word pish, but it's certainly far from it." And genuinely, every one of them I've tried has been great. And he's going to be our guest next week as well.
Yes.
So we plug for Woody. We'll talk about it at the end. But what we're going to do, he has a Colila experiment set out, 8 single casks, and all from a Colila cask, and then they filled it into 8. Is it blood tubs? I think he's filled it into.
Yes.
Different of various sherry styles and wine finishes. So that's now available at about £180 for the 8. It's not miniature, it's 200ml bottles. So you're getting a little over 2 bottles worth in the set. So we're going to be talking about that in next week's Blether. It's going to be a little bit different to our normal Blether, where it's kind of unofficial chat. We're going to try and look into the guts of that wee set. So if you have the set, or if you want the set, we'll be doing kind of a wee chat and a wee tasting with that next Thursday as well. So good wee chat coming up there.
And is it mainly sherry styles that he does?
Mainly, but he had a Glen Spey and a Manachmore that were both bourbon casks.
Okay.
And they were just really, really good classic Speyside.
Yeah.
Nice and sweet, nice and fruity, quaffable, just completely different. I mean, obviously to the Williamson, which is a sherry cask, Lefroy. And there was another Isla. It was a Colila, I think, as well. The Colila that he done. So we had the 2 Speyside bourbon casks, the Mortlick and the Dufton. So 2 Speyside sherry casks, and then the 2 Isla sherry casks as well. Just outstanding. So Chris had a great chat with Woody, and such a really nice guy. He started off as a whiskey broker, and then decided that he didn't want to sell all these good casks to other people to bottle. Just got a license and started bottling themselves, as you do. Ross, you definitely need to check out Woodrow's. Greetings to Van, checking in from Norway as well. So guys, if you've got any questions about the shop, what we've done, what we've got planned, please feel free to throw that into the chat, and we will catch up. Kat, I don't think we kind of actually did a official introduction, given your dodgy internet start. But for the guys who haven't met Kat, Kat works with us at the shop. She's our Wednesday girl, and then helps out with some tastings and in the weekends as well. But we've brought Kat on. What we're probably going to do is introduce her into some more Blethers and get her involved a wee bit more. I'm not sure if I talked this through with you originally or if I just asked you on tonight. But I'm hopeful that
Well, by the way, you're going to be busy for the next 30.
Yeah, by the way, Kat, you've got a full-time job running the shop starting tomorrow. I'm going to take some time off.
So you're doing all the Blethers every Thursday.
But, I need a better internet setup if I'm doing that. I'm going to have to move into the shop.
Don't worry about it. Mike's been doing it for 2 years with shite internet, so you're fine.
I'll just move into your back bedroom, Russell. You've got great internet there at Foggy.
Foggy's great signal, yeah, absolutely.
Well, with all the people with their fans only page down there, the internet must be banging.
Indeed, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Literally
so
banging.
obviously there's a couple of reasons. for us to take a Cat in.
Yeah.
Oh dear. And obviously with the wee one away coming on the way, I might have to duck out and run away and not be allowed to be give my time on a Thursday. So it's always good to get new blood in, different opinions. Certainly be great to have a female host as well, and promote that women and whiskey power that you love so much.
Big up the girls.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. You just don't think about David in the bath when you're doing the Blether. It makes it a lot easier.
We've had to do that for the last
David he's always in the bath.
Oh,
maybe we should just all do it from the bath.
Maybe we should
we'll do that
a bather.
Whiskey live from the bath. Everyone in the bath. No, that's creepy.
Like a team bath, like in rugby. Like we'd all just get in the same bath.
Oh, we'd all be in the same bath.
Yeah.
Because you don't want it to be awkward or anything.
Well, indeed, absolutely.
Oh no. Oh
Yeah,
dear.
little Coldrain. There's the first name for the baby.
Little Coldrain. Coldrain, yeah.
Yeah.
That's cute.
Huggy
That
Fisher.
should go on the list.
Coldrain, have you done your homework? Yeah. Coldrain, get the coal in. Come on.
Yeah.
Get up that chimney, Coldrain.
Oh, look, we've got a name for the new Blether for the ton. Oh, just get in the big mash tun and just do like a big.
Yeah.
I was hoping that was a name
I
for the Blether, not the baby.
Or tub, or tub, Blether for the tub.
Okay, let's see. So Corey, Aberdeensgate. Corey is asking if we would host a tasting for 2 whiskey and 2 gin. Absolutely. I'm not sure if you're referring to 2 people coming in to drink whiskey and 2 people coming in to drink gin, or 2 nips of whiskey, 2 nips of gin. Either or, absolutely. We could do that at the shop, or we could come to your house or your work and do that. So absolutely no issue at all. Our new release, David. When is our new release? We haven't got one lined up yet. There certainly will be something coming fairly soon.
We hit it quite hard last year, Dave. I mean, come on.
Yeah, we did. I'm trying to think. For last year, we did we had the Stone Circle, because it was delayed after Christmas. We had the yeah. We did the Glencadam was the end of 21.
So with your thrust,
the Little Brown Dog.
Little Brown Dog. McMeera was the Lost Dallon Legret. Was that last year?
Oh Jesus, I'd forgotten about that. Yeah, and that was last year, 2 years ago.
Yeah,
because it was pretty much straight after the Little Brown Dog of Stalin. It was kind of the Christmas after that, and Keith's asking if we could do a whiskey tasting in the bath.
Why not? Why not? Just make sure you drop your whiskey.
Yeah, fill the bath with whiskey.
Taking it too far, Mike. That's too far.
Don't let him in the house. Like an exorcist, all your spirits will disappear.
So I've just noticed Gary's Joyce joined us from East City, so nice to see you, Gary. I mistakenly thought that your tasting was tonight as well, so I was corrected on that earlier on. I'm a little bit too excited, clearly. But yeah, just to give a wee catch up, Gary. We've just been talking about our favourite drams of 2022, favourite discoveries, distillery visits, something like that, or new things you've discovered in whiskey. And Mike was just telling us about his favourite indie bottling off this year, last year, which was Woodrow's, which is grabbing a lot of attention just now.
Mm-hmm. I can't speak highly enough of it, to be honest. Mm-hmm. On the new release front, couple of ideas. Nothing kind of been set down yet, but certainly we'll be looking at another distillery release and potentially a new brand as well coming through. So yeah, keep your eye out. We won't keep you too long. We've got a couple of the Glencadams left and a couple of the Coldrains left, and a bit of the Thrusk as well. So we were well stocked on exclusives. And yeah, because we had the Coldrain as well last year. So we've done a couple of octaves, and I think this year might be looking at more frequent but octave release. So kind of smaller releases and more of them. It's kind of my plan for it. But we shall see who's got liquid that's good enough, and we want a bottle first and foremost.
Mike said a couple of the Glencadam left, literally a couple left. I think 6 maybe.
4 left.
4 out of the 242. So if anybody's still keen on getting a hold of one of them, I would urge you to be quick. Great drama it was as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you were talking about your favourite indies, Mike, and just a thought to myself just about the whole indie scene. again, a handful of people. I've not had a chance to really try the Woodrow's stuff to kind of feel the kind of love for it. But I mean, the fandom for it in the shop has been huge. People absolutely loving it. I think I did try the Dufton. I think before we sampled the Dufton, I think it was, and the Manic were in the shop, and they were both very, very nice. But yeah, for me, indie bottlers this year, I think Dram have done really well. It's a name that's not quite kind of grabbing the attention up in this part of the world, the same as it is down in the Central Belt. I mean, Kenny being down in Dumbarton, Kenny McDonald, but some really, really interesting releases. The Glenglassa, 6-year-old Glenglassa, which you know, a really nice, unusual bottling. And he had a Dalmunich, I think, in his last.
5-year-old Dalmunich, I think, was it, or was it 6 as well?
I think it was 5. It could have been 5 or 6. Maybe 5. Gary might be able to help us because he'll know it a bit better than me. But yeah, so yeah, brilliant stuff. I love the fact that with the Dramore release, with every batch, there's a deliberate mistake. This was on the back of his very first release. He had put out the release and not realised that the bottle of Glengarry that was in the release had 2 R's. And so because that happened, and because he was kind of pulled up in it, he's actually put a deliberate mistake in every batch after that. So anytime you're kind of Dramore release around, have a look at all the bottles and see if you can find the deliberate mistake that Kenny's been putting in. So I think they've kind of starting to grow, get a bit more traction, and then of course. For me, the things that's happening at Elixir, I'm really quite excited with what's going on with them. But I've still got to go back to Little Brown Dog. That's my bottle of the year, indie bottle of the year. I've said it on so many occasions. I think Andrew could fill a cask full of his own wee and then bottle it, and I'm pretty sure he would sell it out. Just the fandom, the love that he's picked up along the way is huge. Every single release he puts out is just sold out, but their whiskies are just fantastic every single time. And of course, you know, heading full time into the business as well, we're going to see a lot more from Little Brown Dog. It's only going to grow and grow. Can't hear you, Mike. You've muted yourself. There you go.
I turned off my headset. I think the battery was dying on it, so I think the Little Brown Dog, yeah, would definitely be, if it wasn't for this Woodrow that's coming in late and doing that 6 phenomenal drams in such a little space of time. I think Andy and Chris are always going to be up there with my favourite, not just because they're local, but they're fun. You get all, you know, really approachable guys, and everything they release, just I don't think it'll be long until they're doing much more releases if they can keep going, because the demand for their stuff is phenomenal. And they've got another couple of casks kind of on the way to be released now as well. So it's to start that little anticipation mill going. Watch this space. And the guys on Gary and Ross both saying the latest Mongrel, it's phenomenal. Ross, we had that discussion about that it being better than the first release. That's actually, I've just poured a wee dram of that just now. So absolutely.
Yeah. So yeah, just a question for me in there. So the third, and I had 3, and the other one that escaped me. It's just been brought up by Ian Bruce, and then around about what was your most insightful guest in the Blether from 2022? And I'm sure Kat will agree with this one for all sorts of reasons. But Dean Joad from Murray McDavid for me was the most insightful, because he gave us such an insight into what it's like as an indie bottler, and the notion that they sometimes will take delivery of a parcel of cask from a certain distillery that's literally 10-year-old new make, because the casks that they're in are so inactive, was, you know, mind-blowing insight to me. I had absolutely no idea that kind of a situation would arise. But yeah, I mean, from a kind of another independent bottler in terms of what they do, Dean's is creator of Head of Creation, do some fantastic stuff. There's some absolutely brilliant releases from them as well just now. But I, for me, my most insightful guest, I think. I mean, there were so many again along the way. Don't know what you think yourself, Mike.
Yeah, I mean that chat with Dean was it went off in so many different tangents from and the experience for a relatively young guy. I think he would be older than me. I wouldn't have thought he'd be in his 30s, early 30s maybe. But yeah, the knowledge he's gathered and a phenomenal chat with him from a point of view. I really liked the chat with Callum as well at Glenfarclas. That was brilliant. And again, just that wealth of 30 years is just and getting to meet was it Charlize Spiteri?
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
On her son's birthday, she forgotten or something.
He got her some Glenfarclas stuff. Yeah.
That was outstanding. So that would probably be two of my highlights. But every guest has been
just great. You mentioned somebody like Callum with his wealth of knowledge. I mean, Alan Winchester coming on, with Jonathan from the Cabrick Trust, and coming in with his years and years of knowledge and depth of knowledge about the history of whiskey as well. I mean, there's probably not many that's got all that kind of facts and figures at his fingertips, like Alan has. So. Yeah, I've been so lucky with some of the people we've spoken to. Yeah,
and on that, what to look forward to 23. I can't wait to see how the Cabrick distillery progresses. I think that's going to be really, really exciting, really interesting. On just the whole idea of this small distillery working everything by hand in such a remote area. It can only be good for the area and what they're doing. I think it's going to be pretty phenomenal.
What about yourself, Kat? I mean, I see you've been muted as well, but you've kind of logged in most nights for the Blethers. Yeah, you're on mute. Here we go.
Yeah, you guys keep freezing, so I don't know if you're going to be able to hear me. I think the internet.
We can hear you well, actually.
Okay, that's all right. I mean, I really enjoyed the chat you had, Dean. Obviously, that was a good one. Because he's a very talented individual. I love the chat you guys did with Georgie from Elixir.
Yeah,
of course. Yeah, just after the more news. Yeah,
it was such like a sort of just nice to listen to, and she's just really, really knowledgeable and really down to earth, and it was just nice to see how she progressed. I always love these chats because it's so interesting to see how people have come into the profession from all sort of different areas of life. So I'd love to see how they've developed themselves so yeah, I love that chat. It was really good. I think that's how Russell ended up as Northern Hasselhoff.
That's exactly, yes. It was the Hofferman.
Hasselhoff. Yeah. Russelhoff, isn't it?
It was the Russelhoff, yeah, that's right.
Makes you sound Russian, though, if you call yourself Russelhoff.
There's a place in, downside Calendar in the Trossachs. So when I was down volunteering, in 2014, I was a volunteer driver for the dignitaries during the Commonwealth Games. Great gig, but my shifts didn't start till about 11 o'clock, and I was staying with a friend in Glasgow, so I took my bike down with me. I was doing a lot of cycling that year, so I would take a bike over to the Trossachs, and there was a sort of 30-mile circuit that I could do and grab a bit of cake and coffee and get back in time to do my shift. But there was a little place called Rusky, Russkie. I'll see if I can find the photograph. I took a wee selfie beside it. I thought, brilliant, that's my Russian cousin.
Whiskey-Hoff.
I'll have a look and see if I can find the photograph. So Russelhoff sounds a bit Russian. But it was, I think it was it wasn't Fraser, it was Matthew Runcie on my birthday put up a photograph of the Hoff sitting on Kit, the car.
Oh yeah, seen that. Yeah.
And it was he said happy birthday to the Hoff of the North, and I thought, gosh, it's a bit like Game of Thrones when there was Jon Snow, the King in the North, the Hoff of the North, the Hoff of the North.
It should be your new. It should be your new handle for the Blether. Just the
The
Hop
Hop
of
of
the
the
North.
North.
Yeah.
That's an Instagram handle as well.
I was going to say I changed my Instagram. Yeah, the Hop of the North. Yeah.
We've so Callum Renton. Good evening, Callum. I hope you're doing well. And he's popped on that our Blethers passed many an exciting mile on the treadmill.
Yeah.
So Blethers, not only keeping you entertained but keeping you fit throughout 2022. So all good, all good. Hey, Kat, I'm just going to jump back on you just a second. You mentioned there your how you enjoyed hearing about how people got into whiskey. I don't think the guys at home would know much about your whiskey journey. So do you want to give them a wee insight into who you are and what you do?
Well, I wouldn't exactly call it a journey. It's not a long, it's more like a wee donder, to be honest. It's like, it's only been about 5 years. So yeah, I moved back to the northeast of Scotland after traveling around the whole of Scotland, working for estates and farms. My kids got to the age where they were all at school, needed to start working properly, and always been interested in whiskey. And luckily, there was a job in the Go at Glengarry, and that's how I started off my whiskey world. Not that exciting.
You'd have said far more exciting, because I'm sure you've had some pretty exciting times at Glengarry.
Oh yeah, it's been ridiculous. Like you forget that you should be getting paid for it. To be honest, it's a really, really fun job, and it's different.
You've met one or two important people along the way as well.
I've met loads of really interesting people actually. I've met the artist formerly known as Prince Charles. Of course, you have as well, Mike. I didn't feature in the Queen's speech. Who else I met? Oh, God, all sorts of crazy people. I met the senior editor of Fox News. I have met. Yeah, he's like, oh, if you're ever at Capitol Hill, look me up. I'm like, yeah, all right.
That's it every day.
I know. Oh gosh, that's terrible. I can't remember half the people I've met. Loads of interesting people in the whiskey world as well. You just never know who's going to walk through that door. It's the same in the shop. You just never know who's going to walk through the door. That's what's fun.
If you're Russell, you don't realise who it is walking in the door, and you just pop your box and piss off. I'm busy.
The owner of Glenfarclas. I just put them down there and get my road. I'm in a hurry here. Oh dear.
I remember when Dr. Rachel Barry walked into the shop, and she kind of just walked in, and she's like, "Hi, you won't know who I am." I'm like, "Oh my god!"
I would do.
Rachel. So yeah, that was a highlight too. You missed it, Mike. You were off, but
Yeah, I was COVIDed at that point. I think
that's right. You were.
You were certainly unwell, and you were very unhappy.
It was morning after I got my booster jab, I think, and it was.
You were very unhappy when we sent you a photograph of all of us with
bastards
with the Barry.
The Barry. Is that her name? That's her handle now. It's
the Barry. Absolutely.
Kat, how could you forget that you met Keith Duncan?
Well, I didn't. I just hadn't got that far yet. Met lots, and I've noticed that Willis has got a picture of himself at Glengarry, which I was chuckling about a second ago, holding his big Thor.
Yeah. The bung.
I can't say bung flogger. It's just a hammer. So yeah, loads of interesting people. And of course, if it wasn't for the whiskey shop, I wouldn't have developed my accidental Instagram name of the distillery Cat.
Indeed, absolutely.
CAT, yes.
Yeah, not what you originally said.
Nothing to do with Bakewell or Treacle or anything like that.
Judging by some of the messages I get already, I'm definitely not changing it to what you guys suggested, that's for sure.
I think you get more likes that way.
You reckon?
Well, if you kept that name, you could certainly moved into Aberherder, because you would have had it.
If anyone wants to know the alternative Cat handle, you could PM us and we'll come back after 9 o'clock.
Can I just say, I'm having a real fun night tonight, because I decided to open. I'm not drinking any of my drams of the year, but I've still got the Water of Life whiskey pack from was that 2 years ago. But we did our own set for showing the film here, which was along this kind of fairly similar theme. So the Brewers Laddie was in there, but we had the Balvenie 17-year-old double wood, which, gosh, that's not even available anymore, is it? No, which I've just finished, and I've never had it before. It's absolutely fantastic. But I've just actually realised the next one is the Glenelg. That's not going to. Oh, there we go. Give it a second. There we go.
Or the famous 12-year-old. Yeah.
IWS Glenelg. That's the next. That's the next one up. I better put some water in my glass and rinse it out a wee bit.
Did you get a taste of that one, Kat?
No, I don't think so.
There is a bottle still in the bar. I've got an unopened bottle upstairs, which I'll gladly give you a good sample of. It's nuts.
Yeah. It was one of those where when we launched it, we did quite well, and then it just tailed off. It slowed down a little bit, and we're like, I can't believe that people aren't buying this. This is an outstanding dram. And then it kind of, there was a German lad gave us an outstanding review on a set of 24 single cask Glenallachys, and he picked ours as a standout. After that, and we were like, can people stop butting it? We've done it ourselves.
But it was a nice bottle to have. We had the central reservation display cabinet at the time, and it was a really nice box and bottle. The Glenallachie boxes, guys who've got single cask Glenallachys, I know the grey boxes with the padding inside and the lovely kind of dumpy bottles. So it was really nice to do a display in the middle, but you were continually having to reset the display because it was just falling. It was just going. But 95 quid, single cask, 60%, 60.3%, 60.3,
60.3.
Figs and chocolate and nuts and beautifulness in a glass. Crazy. And what would be 716 bottles?
715, I think it was.
And sold it within a year.
Yeah.
Incredible drop. Yeah.
Yeah. Outstanding. So Ian's kind of following up his YouTube question from the Blether and from who Kat has met through her fledgling career in whiskey. Who would we all like to have a tasting with? Who would be, if we could pick a tasting guest? So we'll start with Kat in this one. I was going to ask Kat who's had the most influence on you in your short journey, but we could almost hit that in a 2-for-1 there.
Who would you suggest?
Oh, me, obviously.
Oh, well, it's not far from the truth, actually. I've learned a lot working with you guys, actually. I think coming into the distillery, like, you learn a lot about the process and, like, the one brand that the brand that I sell, and then the other brands that we have under the umbrella. And then coming into the shop, like, you have to very quickly kind of broaden your horizon very, very quickly. There's so much whiskey out there, and, like, if somebody just keeps selling the same brand every week and it gets noticed, for example, like, you don't want to be that person. So like, I really admire, like, what I like to listen to you guys, because they obviously do a lot of legwork and a lot of information. So I always kind of appreciate the amount of knowledge you guys have. So I'd have you guys, if I could have you, like, a dinner party, and then I'm
in anyway.
Yeah. We'll get that.
Mike needs a babysitter, but we'll manage that, I'm sure.
Yeah, just leave Tony at home.
Yeah.
Oh no, she can come.
Oh, right, okay. Yeah.
And then I really want to meet Billy Walker, because you guys have all met him, and, like, I really want to meet him. Mm-hmm. He seems amazing. He's like just the Dumbledore of whiskey, so I really want to meet him. So if we can make that happen.
I can't believe I've never heard that before. Somebody hasn't said that already.
Dumbledore.
The Dumbledore of whiskey.
He really is.
Billy Door.
Yeah. He could sort us all into little whiskey houses, and we could just have a big feast in a great hall. That'd be great. Let's sort that.
I think the best thing about this job is that, when you do things like meeting people like Billy, and Billy's great, just sitting chatting, and he takes such an interest in people. There was 1 or 2 people on the course in September that he had followed and understood and got to know, so he was really interested in how they were and how their family was and all that. But the best thing for me was after we'd had that kind of chat with him, and we went back to the boardroom. Obviously, I was driving that day, so the guys were all sitting down to their tasting, and Richard was going through, having taken the guys around the distillery for a very in-depth tour. So I went into the kitchen to make myself a cup of coffee, and Billy was in there with his cup of coffee in his hand and the biscuit and the crumbs. And I thought, brilliant. That's just exactly what I wanted to see with Billy, was just that he's just a completely normal guy like the rest of us. And, just fantastic. And he's like, well, I'm not sure if you'll get a clean cup. There's maybe one there somewhere. Like, you know, it's just cheers, Grandad. That's it.
It's and you see that so often with the guys.
Yeah.
They are just humans who have to be very good at their job. And so unassuming, you know, he's somebody who probably couldn't walk down the streets of Aberlour, say the metropolis, without people recognizing him and wanting to shake his hand and stuff. But he's just a guy doing his job, as are, you know, Charlie McLean or Jim McEwen, Richard Patterson, these guys. And when you meet them, you know, they'll sit in the pub and have a pint with you and, you know, talk to you, like you say, about your family, about what you've been up to, how's business, how's this and that. And it's quite humbling because we hold them in such high regard, and I'm sure the guys at home, when they buy a drink, they're like, oh, this is amazing. Billy's like the king. We won't call him King Billy. No. In that line, but but you know, and they're just, you know, they'll drive home at night and they'll sit with their feet up, watch the news and the telly the same as the rest of us, and take their dog for a walk. And you know, they are just people like us at the end of the day.
I think they all came into it before the whole Instagram generation, before whiskey became very like topical and popular as well. So to them, it was just their day job, and everything, the whole world's developed around about them. So they are still just doing the job that they loved. It's like the whole circus is blown around about what they just do because they love.
Yeah, and there's a lot of people like Dennis Malcolm up at Glen Grant who still doesn't quite understand why people are so interested in basically what's basically a factory, and you know, why are people so interested in all this? It's just a job for them. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And then we've got the new guys coming in. Your Scott Adamsons, your Ian Forteeths, your Dean Jodes, these guys coming through. And what really excited me about these guys is they will develop that knowledge that kind of that Billy and Jim and Rachel have worked on. They'll get that experience, but they'll be backed up with the science that is far more in depth than it's ever been. Yep. The exposure, the instant kind of information where we all get, you know, we can go onto Instagram, find out who's doing what where, and chatting to these guys. They've got all that potential of a Billy Walker, but in an Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok age where it's exciting for us both as lovers of whiskies and sellers of whiskey, I suppose, where we can you know, get access to that and learn from it. I just ping them a message and just say, you know, if I'm away to do a tasting, I say, ping Ian with a quick message saying, can you just remind me a little bit about this one because I'm away to do a tasting? No problem, straight back. Within minutes. And that's really exciting for us that information is there. And the guys, so far, you know, all the guys I've mentioned are quite young in their careers. So maybe by the time they're 50, they're like, Mike, piss off. Leave me alone.
Yeah, but you're right. There's so many like that. I mean, Ollie Chilton comes into that kind of category as well. Somebody you can just drop a line to, you know. And listen, just before I forget, so I can put my phone back, let's get this.
Rusky. You're looking very trim there, Russell.
Yeah, I was. I was a good 4 stone lighter then, and able to ride the Tap Caledonia in about 3.5 hours. So, yeah, no, that was those were different days. Yeah.
David said just popped on. He's on YouTube. Dave Ferguson. I assume we're talking about Billy. To say a very nice guy. He did meet him and came out of a meeting to say hello, signed his bottles on his birthday. I think it's an annual pilgrimage up to Glenallachie for Dave to grab some birthday bottles with the date on it, and it's great that Billy is just so humble. I mean, sometimes I'm like, I can't come down, I'm in a meeting, but you know, for him to actually do that is it's a class act. Absolutely. So Kat would like Billy Walker at her tasting. Russell, what about yourself?
Oh God, that's really difficult. actually really, really difficult. I mean, I guess Charlie. I think from a entertainment. I mean, there were so many people. What's his name? Brian Townsend, who we met this year. The author of the Scotch Mist.
Yeah.
He was a really entertaining guy. Ingvar Ronde of the Whisky Yearbook again. You didn't get to meet him that night. Hopefully we can kind of set that up again, or he's certainly intending to come to the shop at some point. So hopefully you'll get a chance to meet him. But he was a really nice guy to talk to as well. So I think probably some of these people maybe more along the line of kind of whisky writers, I think, for me.
Okay.
Get to meet the people in the industry kind of on a regular basis already, which is, we're very lucky to do. So maybe more of the kind of the writers, so the people who can really say absolutely what they want to, because they're not kind of tied to a brand or something like that.
Yeah, it is that. Yeah, it is quite interesting. Or somebody who's maybe retired who is. One thing we always try to promote in the Blether, I suppose, is take the distillery cap off or the brand cap off, and let's.
Well, Nick Morgan's certainly done that. I mean, he's lit the blue touch paper since he's gone back to just being a historian. He's really upset a whole lot of people. I think that's great. I mean, for me, that's exactly what you need. You need this kind of sort of fiery debate, a discussion. If you're going to, I think in any line of work, if you're going to feel that people have kind of ruffled your feathers, then there's a reason for that, and maybe you need to look at yourself first before you kind of retaliate. So I was really quite. I was in favour with his comments. I think it was a wee bit over the top, but it's still it created a good debate. So. Yeah.
He'd be a good politician. No, he'd be a terrible politician.
He'd be an awful politician. He'd be a good speaker in the Berco kind of the Berco mold.
Yeah.
When I want you to speak, I'll speak to you. I'll ask you to get up. Can I ask the honourable gentleman to sit back down again? Oh no. Yeah. You can see Nick Morgan being the Speaker of the House. Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, for me, probably Charlie would certainly be there as a guest. I'm trying to think who else. I've only met Rachel Barry once, and that was at the worshipful dinner down in Edinburgh, and it was fleeting, just a hello and a hug, and she was off out to party, I think. So Rachel Barry would be good to sit down, because she's an Inverurie girl, local, phenomenal knowledge, phenomenal experience, and she's doing some great stuff. But probably I would like to get in the room, and we've kind of flirted with this idea also a couple of times. Some of the old guard and some of the new guard kind of together, and just chatting about the differences. So kind of Ronan and Billy together, Ian Forteeth and Robert Fleming together, David Stewart and Kirsten together, and just say, well, are you going to change things, or how is the whiskey world evolved? I think that would be a fascinating wee chat, just to have kind of that kind of group of people in.
Yeah, no, that'd be good.
It's maybe something we'll get around to.
Absolutely. Yeah, and you think, that kind of conversation, I think a lot of people would want to hear that kind of conversation as well. So I think it's definitely something to. Don't want to give away too many of our ideas.
No.
Get this off record. Rewind that bit. Take that
out. Yeah. Hopefully the internet went down at that point. So yeah. Thank that great question, Ian. Let us know who would you choose to be in a room with, Ian? And anyone at home, is there any one? We never mentioned Gary Dunsire. I think he should be first name on any guest list.
Oh, I did actually think of Gary. I should have said that. So apologies, Gary. You definitely would have been on my list. We met. Mike and I met Gary for the first time. No, it was the second time for you. First time in person this year. And it's that way. It's been such an odd couple of years where you meet people and really get to know them on a screen like this, and then you meet them in person for the first time. and it's got to be one of the tightest hugs I've had from anybody in a long time. And it was absolutely mutual. It was just brilliant to see him and to spend time with him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's always, and people are always different heights to what you expect them to be.
Like Paul Dempsey, yeah, Man Mountain.
Yeah. Apart from Cat really is that.
I was waiting for it. It was building to that moment. I was waiting for that.
Actual size.
I can't. Is this because you're like this on the screen? You're just like way down here. I thought.
You know, whenever I do anything like this, I realize that my hair takes up about 80% of any of these little wee screens. Like, I'm just literally 8% hair and like 2-inch legs. Like a mini Chewbacca.
Like Cousin It.
Exactly like that. Exactly like that.
Oh, we've got. I can't believe we never thought of Ian McAllister as well. What a shout from David Muir.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, get that sorted. We'll have to go back. Cat in a bag. Is that a wee bag?
I could probably fit in a shopping bag. Like if we do, you know, like if it's a challenge, I'm game.
You fit a 10p mix bag. Come on, be serious. So yeah, Ian McAllister, and that's something I want to do more this year. Is probably get out and about, and do more touring. Do more.
Absolutely, yeah. Get down to these places. Get to Campbellton. Get to Isla, our favourite place, and but definitely Campbellton. Definitely Campbellton. Ian's actually on my list of people to get back on. It's one of these people you would have on the Blether every second week, to be quite honest, and you could find a different conversation to have every single time. I want to revisit the Telegraph poll conversation, of course, which for me was definitely a highlight of 2022 because that was our first Blether of 2022, and that's up there with the most relevant and important piece of information I never realised I needed to know.
You know, I went back to watch that, and I can't believe how long you guys talked about it for.
Listen, we deliberately stopped because we realised we could have spoken about it all night. But I've had conversations with Ian about tractors as well. I think there was one time, Mike, the very first time we had him on the Blether. I was fortunate to meet, so I've met Ian a few times online now. The first time was a East City Whisky Club tasting, and then we had him on doing a Glen Scotia tasting with the shop that I hosted online as well. And then we had him on the Blether, and Mike's internet went down. Surprise, surprise. So Ian and I were just ourselves for a good period of time and got completely immersed in farm machinery, which he gets entirely, the same as me. So Mike came back into the chat, kind of wondered why we were so animated. We're like, oh, God. It's like, oh, we better stop talking about this now and get back on the proper chat. Yeah. So yeah, the Telegraph poll was a very, and we've since discovered the oldest one in the world is in, or the oldest one in Scotland is in. No, I didn't fall asleep. No, David, I didn't. That's a different thing altogether. That
was an East City Club one.
Well, yeah. I didn't fall asleep in that East City one. I was young and immature then. I only fall asleep now that I'm old and.
It was 2 months ago, Russell.
That was the second time. The first time I fell asleep was an Ardmore night.
Oh, the behind the curtain.
Fell down the curtains,
Oh,
yeah, well, brilliant. Okay, no, I haven't watched that. They visit a Telegraph pole in the Southern Uplands. That's interesting, Ian. There's definitely one down Campbellton Way that's one of the oldest ones. But I think the oldest one is actually in a museum in Orkney, I believe.
There we go.
If I ever go to Orkney, I will discover that and take photographs and share it with everybody.
The world's oldest in the world or in the UK?
Well, UK. I would say UK for sure.
You read the bloody telephone, so of course.
Yeah, exactly. It should be. Could well be the world's. Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
I always wonder who he called. The guy, Logie Bird, when he invented it. Who was the first to receive that phone call?
The first, yeah. Well, we must know that. Someone's
I honestly don't think we've had a Blether that we haven't mentioned this fucking telephone graph.
Telegraph pole or tractor is like standard.
Or combine harvest, because of course, that's another highlight of 2022, is that I have an actual official invite from the owner of said combine harvester at Kilhoman to go. Yeah, so I'm there. That's my September holidays booked. Late August, early September. Yeah.
Yep, head over for Hurst.
Yep. Have I told you since then that I've also been invited to be involved with some planting of barley?
No.
No, okay.
Sowing and Hairston.
Sowing and Fogey and Hairston and Isla. That's going to be my 2023.
And rotting in art in the American.
You would never get anything done because you'd be stopping at every telegraph pole in the park looking at them.
It'll be an interesting day. I'm sure Steve the farmer will be delighted with my company.
Right. Dave just on YouTube just sent me a message saying he's bought another Glencadam, so that's us down to 3 Glencadams left.
Oh wow!
Wow. And that's one that I'm going to be sad to see go. In all honesty.
It's as sad as this Glenalchie, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe sadder for me. Yeah, maybe sadder.
Yeah, we've built up a good relationship with certainly with Ian Forteeth. We had a great relationship with Robert. We still do with Robert Fleming as well. He's got family in Inverurie and meet him quite often. And it's a really good setup they've got there. The guys are awesome. The whiskey's really good as well. Some of their single casks are outstanding. Let's go back. David Muir jokingly, I think, said 18 hours is how long that conversation on the telegraph pole was. I don't think if we added up every conversation we've had about it, Blethers.
It's important. Listen, it's important. I'm disappointed the guys haven't come back in with more stats. People should be looking this stuff up.
He's talking of stocks. I do need to buy a fork. Oh well, there's a race on for the last one. So guys, and in all seriousness, I will be really sad if I'll be chuffed but sad to go into the shop tomorrow morning and know that that's coming off the shelf at the end. Yeah, but if you have to buy it, you have to buy it, and I would say you have to buy it.
Yeah.
For those who haven't been in the shop recently, if you look behind us on the screen there, and that's a wee snapshot of our whiskey snug. One thing I did want to tell you all about tonight was kind of the future plans for IWS and what we've got coming up. Obviously, we've got 2 academies. The Highland Whisky Academy's March is fully booked, but we have still got space in the September one. And I think the more we progress with them, the more stuff we get to do, the more exciting it becomes. People want to be part of it in terms of suppliers and distilleries. So I can only see our academy getting more and more in depth and more great experiences for you. We now have the bar upstairs. We have a wee snug bar in the shop that has really caught imagination of some people. They really enjoy coming in. And at the moment, what we want to do is get you in for tastings, but staying behind after the tasting, after any official event. And basically it becomes a bar, so you can buy any of the whiskies there, buy the drams. So we could do private events and all that kind of thing. So please do give us a shout if you're passing by, even maybe not driving through, but passing through, or if you've got a driver. Stop in and more than happy to take you upstairs and see some of that collection. And so my idea for the bar is to eventually make it an actual public bar where you can walk in unannounced and pop up and have a chat with us over a dram and see what exciting stuff we've got. It could be the last place that you could find some of our shop exclusives and some other great drams in there. So we keep a bit of our unicorn drams behind because we want people to drink them. Ultimately, we don't want them all to go to bots online and sit in shelves gathering dust. So every bottle in the snug is open. So pop in, and we'll quite happily pour a dram and see what you think of that. Yeah, so that's my sales pitch of my 30-second sales pitch of the shop. So let's get back to more interesting topics. like? I don't know, what's more interesting than whiskey?
And well, I guess we do
Not
occasionally.
telegraph poles.
No.
We do sometimes talk about gin. We've had some gin producers on as well, which obviously that's a big part of the sales in the shop as well. Which and we do gin tastings, which are very popular up in the bar as well.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, as Mike says, it's a great spot to come in and relax. The tastings, hosting the tastings are always great fun as well. So.
Where are you guys? What are you guys looking forward to in the next year in terms of getting out and visiting somewhere? What distillery is on your go-to list this year?
Kat?
Well, I'm off to a distillery at the end of the month. I'm going to our Bicky distillery at the end of the month.
Yeah, nice.
Quite excited to see that because it's something a bit different. I would love to go out to Isla and see the new Kalila.
Could we just do a little rewind there? Why our Bicky then? Because that's quite an unusual one to.
Because we're going to Edinburgh to the Johnny Walker experience, and it's on the way. It's the only one that fitted in with our timescale.
Okay.
But also because it's very, very interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're doing something completely different, so it'd be fun to see. And they're quite like a new place, so it'd be fun to see what they're up to.
And also, Isla, you're saying you want to go to Isla?
I'd love to go and see the new Kalila visitor centre. It looks amazing. So I'd love to go and see that and just kind of revisit. Because I know me and Tony, of course, we did the whole of Isla 4 years ago.
You mean 2020, wasn't it? It was because you got back just before. It was 3 years ago.
Okay, 3 years ago.
2019, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was just like a couple of weeks before we locked down for COVID.
Yeah, 2020 then, 2020, beginning of 2020.
You got back because there was word of you kind of had to get back that weekend or else you might have been stuck on the island.
Yeah,
for 2 years.
That would be tragic. I know. So no, it'd be nice to go back and because when I went out, Kilholman didn't have a visitor centre. Well, they were building it, so we got like a little sneak peek. But it'd be fun to go and see it now. It's all done as well. And then when it was shut, I think it was Bunnahabhain was shut when we were there as well. So it'd be nice to go and see.
Well, it was shut in 2019 when I was over. They were still doing tours, but the visitor centre was just like at the end of a building, and it was just a wee. About half the size of the shop. It was a tiny little place just with the bottles in the shop. It wasn't so much a shop or a visitor centre because it was all getting done up. Yeah.
So yeah, that's my ones.
Awesome. I think for me, I want to get to Ardnamurchan. I haven't been there yet. I think that's good. That would be really interesting. I would like to think Glencadden might be opening up this year. I think it's probably going to be 24, but if we can get in there, that would be awesome. But probably as well, a little bit closer to home, the Cairn distillery is meant to be all singing, all dancing. I would love to get up there as well. Gordon McPhail's new place.
It looks amazing when you drive past it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it's going to look amazing once the landscaping comes in. It looks a little bit like a sort of crashed spaceship just now, just because it's such a big building and just a kind of expansive ground. But I think once the landscaping comes in, it's going to come into its own. And you know, it's not going to be looking like anything like Macallan, I don't think. But yeah, it should blend well into the sort of area physically, geographically once it matures. But it's definitely a big, bulky looking building when you drive past just now. Well, that'll change. I mean, absolutely, Mike, you have to go to Ardnamurchan. But I mean, the thing about Ardnamurchan, the distillery itself is quite small. It's nice in that sense. It's very interesting in that sense. But just the area, you have. And I would suggest if you're going to go down there, just get yourself right onto the peninsula, right as far into it as you can, and just don't even think about coming out for your week because you don't have to. Every day is different in terms of scenery. You see all the islands, you see the black pool in the sky, you see the Knoydart Hills. It's just the best place ever. So you'll love that. I'm really excited about Tormore. I'm not sure how quickly their visitor centre is going to be up and running.
Yeah, cool.
That's definitely one that excites me. And kind of looking back from last year, I was really I very much enjoyed going to Cragganmore, which had been shut for a while, I think, during lockdown. It's kind of back up and running again. The distillery manager's sort of office where they do the tastings.
The Bothy.
Just an incredible space, just beautiful.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely going to go back and do that again. I was there working, hosting a tour. So it was nice to see it, but I want to go back as a paying guest to enjoy it and, you know, have the drams and get the atmosphere kind of there as well. So definitely going to go back and do that from a customer point of view.
Awesome, super, yeah, good stuff. Callum, who's on YouTube, was mentioning the Campbellton guys, the new one, Macnaharish and Dalriata. I don't think they'll be ready by 23, surely. But very, very keen to see what they do there, and see what plans they've got coming up. Ross Jolly wants to see Glenglassaugh again. I would love to see Glenglassaugh again as well. I think that would be obviously we get behind the scenes as in the Highland Academy. Ross, if you want to get in, give us a shout. We can get you on the September week.
Can I come?
Can
Oh, I'm sure that'll be allowed.
you're the paratroopers back in and storm your room again, aren't you?
I think that qualifies as shop training, Kat. So I think I would fill in a wee shop training chit request for him.
I will.
Get it in. I think yeah.
But yeah, Glenglassaugh with a visitor centre that's not a porter cabin would be outstanding.
Oh, that would be amazing. God, can you imagine if it was in that wee bothy, that wee cottage that we were in?
I mean, personally, I think they should give the keys to the distillery to Stuart. And just let him do, because the amount of times that he's or the ideas that he's got for that place are phenomenal. So that's if there's the Brown Foreman business development or whoever runs that kind of side of things is watching us tonight,
just give the keys to Stuart. Yeah, absolutely.
Let him do whatever he wants, and it would be better for everyone if that could happen. David's going to come again, and he's apologising already. Thank you very much. It's very kind of you to apologise, David, but we would be more than happy to have you back up. The levels in the loft must be running quite low, so we'll quite happily get you up and get you stocked up.
We'll do an academy just for you, Dave. We'll just you and your loft guests. The September dates, Ross. It's the week of the 4th of September.
Yeah.
So Sunday, arrive on the Sunday, and then it's Monday to Friday inclusive, and depart on the Saturday.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think we should feature David's loft as part of the next academy.
We should have a blether from Dave's loft.
Yeah.
This is a bit like what's the Bunnahabhain guys? What's his name? Dave. That's another Dave, isn't it? Dave Brody. They don't have the attic or something. Is it the attic? Yeah.
Sure.
We should have a blether from Dave's loft. Yeah, that'd be. Yeah.
But Dave in the bath downstairs.
Well, we could all just be in the bathroom. I mean, we've already had that conversation. I guess for sure.
I'd be scared as to what kind of whiskies we would come away with from that loft. It would be. I'm sure it's some site.
It's getting there for sure. He said 2 weeks away from completion, Dave.
I think that's what he said. Yeah. That would be. Well, we'll have a day trip. We'll book a trip down, and then we'll do a few visits, a few home visits, and see what we can do. We'll get the bus down and load up from stock and come back home. That sounds good.
I think there was a wee question further back. I think it might have been Ian Bruce, just asking about any kind of books or written material that we'd discovered in 2022 that we wanted to share.
Yeah. Telegraph poles and their locations.
I don't think that was one of the books. Now, before anybody says anything, I didn't actually bring that back up. I've moved on, so.
That would be an amazing coffee table book. A great way of getting rid of blisters as well.
I'll tell you what would actually be a fun book to do. Now this is me being like stupidly geeky. Is the views from the top of the telegraph poles. So get somebody to stand up on the top and take a photo of the town or wherever it's in, and do that for all the telegraph poles still standing. There's a retirement job for you, Russell.
Telegraph pole views.
Yeah. Somebody would make a calendar out of that, and I bet you it would sell.
I mean, you have to do it yourself. Would you have to? We'd have to prove you shimmied up every pole, or you couldn't just use a drone or something.
No.
No, you'd have to actually physically. So there'd have to be a photograph of me atop the telegraph pole taking the photograph, and then the photograph of the view alongside it.
Absolutely.
Listen, if somebody wants to give me a commission to do that, I'm in. I'm in.
There's a telegraph pole right side the still house at Glengarry, isn't there?
There's a lamppost.
Is it a lamppost?
I don't think there's a telegraph pole right outside the still house, because it goes right out onto the road. Maybe further down towards like the draft.
Maybe it's a lamppost. I'm getting excited there. Anyway, whiskey books. Whiskey book of the year, Russell.
Oh, for me, easily the James Eady one, which I was fortunate to get for a Christmas present. So the very heavy that has to be read while you're sitting at the dinner table because it's too heavy to hold. It would certainly kill you if you fell asleep and it's landed on your head. If you went that for me is definitely the book of the year for me. But also the publication, The Angel Share, which just came out this year, and obviously our fans' favourite there, Ian, on the front cover of the last edition. Cracking wee sort of coffee table little kind of journal as well, with bits to kind of dip in and out of. There's only been 2 editions so far. I don't think they've got a kind of regularity in the sense of when they're actually published just now. So it seems to be a little bit ad hoc. But quarterly.
I think so.
Well, we'll see. Yeah, so if that's the case, there should be another one maybe fairly soon. Then just 2 editions so far. And just finally, every year is the Malt Whisky Yearbook, which we feature in now. So yeah, we're out there in the shop section. So that's really cool as well. And it's just the ultimate reference. When I spoke to Ingvar about it last year, I said it's like my Bible. He said, well, maybe we shouldn't use that word because there is a whiskey Bible already, and it's maybe not everybody's. Yes, I'm sorry. I'll take that right back, Ingvar. It is my ultimate reference book, and this is. I have this with me every day at work for reference if required. Loads and loads of information in there. So anybody who doesn't have them, we've got them on sale in the shop as well. Unashamed plug. But if you've never read it before, you've never had it, then you should try and pick up a copy.
Awesome. Kat, have you done much whiskey book reading this year?
I haven't that much because we've been moving house a little bit, so most of my books are all packed up. But a girlfriend of mine sent me the most ridiculous, trashy Christmas novel that's set in a fictional Islay distillery, which I'm loving way too much because it's ridiculous. I don't think it's factually correct or I'm going to gain anything useful out of it, but like,
As long as it's entertaining.
References distillery, so does that count?
Absolutely. So, sometimes we need a little bit of fiction in our life.
Yeah, absolutely.
We do.
Oh, Whiskey Galore never gets old. It's just the ultimate jaunt, isn't it? It's a brilliant book, Whiskey Galore.
I know, I haven't actually even read that, to be honest.
Yeah. Oh, you have to. Have you seen the films?
I've seen the newest one because I've met Gregor Fisher. I went fishing with him, funnily enough.
Let's just drop that in there. Just yeah.
Yeah. So I have met him a few times.
Yeah.
So it's the circles I move in. Like, haters going to hate Russell.
That's awesome. So how do you know? Was that through sort of whiskey work or?
No. So when I lived out on the West Coast, the estate I worked for, the Laird's sister is an actress. So Yeah, she is in what's it called, River City. And for anybody that's got children watching, she's Edie McCready in Balamory.
Ah,
So they're very good friends with Gregor, who
Gregory.
is godfather to one of the kids in the family.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah. So yeah, we used to go jump in the boat and go island hopping and fishing with Gregor fishing.
Wow.
So there you go.
Fishing with a fisher. That's brilliant. That is absolutely brilliant. That's quite a
Yeah.
shame.
When I got married on the West Coast, Edie McCready turned up to my wedding, of course, and my mate's husband got really drunk, and he'd been watching Balamory in the morning, and then of course Juliet turns up, and he's like, "You're like a Kardashian with all these celebrities." I'm like, "It's Edie McCready." Yeah, so that's my claim to fame.
That's a fairly major claim to fame. I mean, Rhapsody Nesbitt is a kind of mucker. That's pretty cool.
He is. He's quite posh Glasgow. He's nothing like
Nothing like
Rhapsody.
Rhapsody. Yeah.
What was the guy, the character he played after Raspberry Nesbitt, had the comb over the bald?
Oh, it was just one of the many characters from Chewing the Fat.
No, but it was a series.
Oh no, it was Naked Video. There was Naked Video he was in, not Chewing the Fat.
Yeah. And he did Scotch and Rye as well, with Ricky Fulton a lot as well.
He did a bit of that, yeah.
There was a character. It was like a TV. It was a series, and I'm sure he played like
Comb over was adverts. It was in a lot of the Hamlet adverts when he was trying to get his photograph taken in the in the photo booth. And the chair kept on collapsing, and his hair kept on.
I'm sure it was a spin-off of a TV show, and I think he played that the character didn't speak or anything. It was a little bit, maybe not slapstick. I'm sure it was. Yeah, Dave's got the comb over guy.
I don't remember it being a series. I mean, it was certainly used in adverts, and it was certainly one of them was the Hamlet cigar advert. You know, when everything goes wrong, and then the music comes in, the boom, 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 and the cigar gets lit, and it's everything's better with the Hamlet cigar.
Like Hamlet adverts as a kid, and think this was a TV show.
But he was definitely in a Hamlet advert. I can't remember him being in a TV show. But yeah, I mean, you could be. I mean, I just don't remember. Guys, help us out.
Yeah.
Anybody remember?
I am clueless.
The Baldy Man.
The Baldy Man.
The Baldy Man. Was it a TV series? I'm sure. Baldy Man is a television series starring Gregor Fisher.
Oh, okay.
2 series comprising 13 episodes on ITV, 95 to 98. There you go.
Gosh, what was I doing 95 to 98? I had kids. Yeah, I was busy. I wasn't watching TV. I'd been 12 at that point. For Hamlet as well, yeah. Dave remembers the Hamlet adverts. The Baldy Man 2 series.
So maybe the Hamlet was
it was 4. Very hell, Dave.
Maybe you only had 4 bottles in your loft, Dave. That's as close to 4 you were. Maybe that's the Hamlet adverts used that ad series as a spin-off for. Maybe I'm not sure. There we go. That's more like it, Dave.
But yeah, Gregor. So yeah, the obviously Whiskey Galore. No, I think the original's maybe a bit dated now. You've got to be a fan if you really movies to kind of enjoy that. But the new movie's brilliant.
I think it's brilliant. Yeah, really.
And Gregor,
was it Cullen or Portsoy that they filmed that? Wasn't it?
Portsoy, yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah,
because really good cast as well. Eddie, I think he did a free show for the town.
Yeah.
To thank them for their hospitality. He did a bit of a stand-up show, and it was free. Everyone got to go in and to the village hall, and it was and because the Peaky Blinders was there as well, wasn't it?
They were, yeah.
Yeah.
There's a memorial to one of them in the outside the house now.
Yeah. So, I can't remember the character's name, but spoiler alert.
We better not give a spoiler. I can't remember his name either, but he was certainly one of the characters.
How did we get onto Gregor Fisher? Kat, it was your fault, wasn't it?
Hey, we were talking about books, whiskey books, and I said Whiskey Galore.
Whiskey Galore. It was Whiskey Galore.
Yeah.
I was just name dropping celebrities,
I admittedly haven't read nearly as much as I should have this year, but one I am enjoying just now is Whiskey Tales, Charlie MacLean.
Oh yeah.
Just a nice casual kind of pick up, a little bit like Nick's Everything You Wanted to Know book, where you could just pick up. It's not a linear kind of subject. You could just kind of dip in and out, and there's some good fun stories in there, and so some nice kind of bedtime reading as well. It's a lovely wee book, a nice little light-hearted look at whiskey. It must be about 12 years old now, maybe a wee bit older. It's certainly early 2000s anyway that he wrote it. By the way, only one bottle left in your Arthrusk stock, so get on it, guys. Well, Dave,
that's maybe the Glencairn stock.
If that's true, you have bought a shitload of and not that I'm complaining at all.
No.
It's excellent.
Who's going to buy the last bottle, guys? It's going to be a sad moment. I remember selling the last bottle of the Glenallachie.
Premise that you didn't want to sell it.
That was exactly why the lady bought it. She looked at it and I said, I really don't want to sell you that. She goes, well, I'll have it then. I'm like, no, don't. That's the last one. No, please don't. Yeah. And off it went. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Guys at home, anything else you want to ask? Feel free. We'll probably wind down a wee bit now. Feel free to ask us anything you want, whiskey related, hopefully. But you know, anything that you're looking forward to in the new year, anything you want to get involved with, what would you like to see from us? There's always a good.
Absolutely. And anybody you'd like us to try and get on for the Blether? I mean, I've got a list of people that we're trying to pin down for dates and things just now. So anybody you might think of that we haven't got on our list that you'd like us to ask, be good to know.
Does that include me? Because I want.
Yeah, you're allowed.
You need to get the Whiskey Sisters on because, like, they're cool.
The Whiskey Sisters.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's get them on. I want to be best friends with them.
Well, give me more details then, and I'll chase them up.
You got your fan hat on.
Yeah, I want to be best friends with them. Inka Larissa, she's like a blogger for spirits and wine. She's Swedish, I think, or Norwegian maybe.
What's her name?
Inka Larissa. You'll like her.
Inka Larissa. L-O-R?
Larissa, L-E-R-I-S-S. She's what's she called? On the Sauce Again is her blog.
On the Sauce Again. I like it.
Yeah.
Like it already.
I know.
It's like my nightly tagline.
She loves whiskey and she's a mad daft Bon Jovi fan. I feel like we need to be best
Bon
friends.
Jovi.
Yeah.
Oh, who doesn't like Bon Jovi? Come on.
I was so some of you older generation people here, I was born when heavy metal was actually good. And then it got a bit kind of poppy, kind of rocky, kind of.
Yeah, admittedly, and a lot of people do that. So when I got into Bon Jovi, that was back in the Crossroads kind of era, phenomenal. And then the what was it? It's My Life and all that kind of more poppy kind of stuff. Aerosmith, same thing. Aerosmith were awesome, and then they just kind of developed a bit more of a poppy attitude. They'll say they evolved. I think they took a step back. But yeah, classic Bon Jovi, I think, was proper 80s rock and roll.
Yeah, all the older albums are better.
Yeah,
the stuff he does now is no good. I think he's just trying to be best.
My metal experience was 70s and also a bit of kind of dragged along 60s kind of stuff. So, but yeah, I was definitely a little bit 80s. I definitely White Snake were a little bit kind of too commercial for me. Rainbow were just on that edge. They were kind of okay. UFO, they were brilliant. Rush, people like that.
Rush were really good. I liked them.
There was I don't know if anyone's heard of a band called the Datsuns. Exactly same way as you spell the car, Datsun, but Datsuns, I think they were brothers. They're in New Zealand. So if you know your UFO is a classic one. You know the kind of doctor, and so you kind of dun 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 dun, and you can just imagine these kind of guys in these bands being really kind of greasy and kind of, you know, a bit like a dirty chain on a motorbike kind of thing. And with the Datsuns were very much exactly the same music, but like he degreased it.
Okay.
So they were young and light and clean. It was like exactly the same riffs, exactly the same tunes, but you felt like it's a bit like when you would clean your bike and all the gears would change much easier and quicker and the wheels moved it easier. That was the only way I could actually describe the Datsuns. It was like a degreased UFO.
You should replace Ken Bruce. I reckon they've missed a trick. Get your CV in, Russell.
I'll get it done. Yeah, that's what I'll do. I'm just having a really. So, have they got a webpage, these guys? Because I'm looking at.
They're on Instagram.
Just
They're on the
Instagram.
grounds.
Okay. I'll look up if I look up on the source, it'll come up. Yeah, we'll give them a shout. There's one. So one of the people we've got coming on this year is a lady called Johanne McInnes, who's a Canadian. She's got a piece in this year's yearbook, and I think she's somebody you'll actually really like, Kat, because she's very much promoting women in whisky as well. So she writes a piece called "The Whisky Jigsaw Puzzle."
Oh, cool.
Really interesting piece. You'll get it in the yearbook. And she's a really cracking sounding lass. She's already replied that she's going to join us towards the end of February. So looking forward to talking to her.
I've just realised what's happened there.
Yeah.
We aim to please. We aim to please.
I mean, fair enough. The public's spoken.
Well, yeah.
With the minority vote. There we go. I'm sure it's an absolute majority vote.
They want someone younger than Ken. Michael, for goodness sake.
I was just about to tell Michael that we could make up a Tom and Teletation clip, but I'm not sure.
It's a good to have a bloody rhino skim you about, Michael. Just
He's still go semi-final and
slightly serious note from Dave. Dave mentioned he wants to desperate to visit Lindores. He's a 1494 member. You'll love it. Mike and I popped in there just very, very briefly. About October. Yeah, make sure you've got plenty of time. There's lots and lots and lots to read. They really go down the history line with the whole abbey. So, but you'll love it, Dave.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely get down there.
Absolutely, yeah. It's a lovely place, and next time we go down, we'll have some more time to do the tour and
watch this space for wanting to visit as well, because that might be another plan that we might be looking at.
Maybe.
Possibly.
Yeah. Honestly, there's so many ideas, and we can only do so much in a year, to be fair. So some of these ideas will come to fruition this year. Some might be delayed until 2024, but we're always keen to expand our offering. And probably one thing I do want to do more this year, probably in the summer and beyond, is a little bit more bespoke trips, maybe overnight trips and things like that. So certainly keep an eye on the experience side of things, which is it's certainly not that we're taking our foot off the gas with the shop and I want to keep that going, but I really think the experience and the tours and the taste and the events, that kind of thing, is something we want to have a bit more joy with and push a wee bit more. So definitely keen to get that ball rolling sooner rather than later.
I think that was always the idea. I think lockdown. I mean, when I started in the shop, we had the the ambassador, the Aberdeenshire. No, not ambassador. Aberdeenshire. What was it called again? Embassy. It seems so long ago now. The embassy, and the whole idea with the embassy originally was just for you guys. You guys are on here every week. The guys that we talk to, the guys that we've got a relationship with, for us to spend more time doing stuff and talking. Unfortunately, it kind of got a little bit taken over by one or two, shall we say, unicorn seekers, because you had access to the bottles and a greater chance of getting them. So it kind of lost its way a little bit, and then we'd locked in as well, so we weren't able to kind of put on the kind of events that we wanted to put on. So I mean, that's definitely the angle that that the shop's looking at from an experience point of view, just getting people engaged. I mean, obviously, as Mike says, you don't want to take your foot off the gas with the shop and with sales. I mean, that's ultimately what the shop's there for, but it's more than that, much more than that. And the experience side of things is definitely something that wants to happen more of. So so just engage more with those guys, get involved with all the trips, get involved with what we do. And yeah, let's continue having fun.
Absolutely. Yeah. Ian on YouTube, as just mentioned, One Nation Whisky.
One Nation Whisky, yeah. Yeah, that's a good one, Ian. Yep.
David Muir, Mike, would you incorporate other activities, obviously including whiskey, but ones that are non-alcohol based? Yes, we have done kind of experiences that have involved non-alcoholic ventures. And yeah, we were in a talk kind of with some local companies doing a bit more of an experience, or like an Aberdeenshire experience. So, castles, tours and things like that. We did a private group for a 4-day trip. We took them up to Glengarry and visit some battle sites. We took them to the Dunnottar Castle, cheese factories, Highland cows, and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, we're certainly open to do a lot of bespoke. It doesn't have to be whiskey. There's a lot of guys we could do clay pigeon shooting locally and fishing and that. I think with the shooting, we'd probably do that before the whiskey, maybe not after the whiskey.
Why? It's going to be much more fun after.
Just my health and safety cap on there. Just
you spoil sport.
Yeah. But absolutely, Dave. Yeah, we would definitely look at the bus is there to be used.
And I think the other thing along that line, what Mike's saying, just to kind of add to that, is that we're very, very, very keen to promote everything Aberdeenshire's got. It's still an undiscovered part of Scotland, and we're all three of us here. I mean, we've most of us explored a fair bit of Scotland as well, but huge devotees of what Aberdeenshire has in terms of things like outdoor sports, but scenery and experiences. So yeah, for sure. And we'd fit in perfectly with the Americans coming over, Dave. Absolutely. Everybody talks about the West Coast and Glasgow, and these are beautiful places to go to, but Aberdeenshire's got a whole lot to offer.
Yeah, absolutely. And I dare say, all over the country, it doesn't have to be Aberdeenshire. We could travel.
Yeah, you've Speyside, you've got Murray, you've got up in Burness Way, up into Rossshire.
Yeah, definitely. Dave gives a message, and we'll catch up. And as long as as long as Gavin Mills doesn't come along.
Well, poor Gav's not watching tonight, but that'll be between you, me, and Gavin, Dave. I'm sure.
He's poor Gavin. Yeah. So Gavin, for guys who don't know, we're not just picking on him. He was a member of our first academy. And obviously, Dave and him have got friends. Despite
bromance, I think it.
Bit of a bromance, yeah. They love to hate each other, I think. Or
Gavin's a cracking Sussex lad. Brilliant guy.
So, guys, thank you very much for joining us tonight. It's been good fun. It's been great to catch up. I've missed the Blethers. Absolutely, and I'm looking forward to the next few weeks. Like, next week's going to be really interesting. It's going to be, if you haven't got the tasting kit from Woody, join in anyway and learn. It's going to be proper geek. I think it's going to be really interesting to see what this kit does and the difference from one cask being matured. And that 8 different casks is going to make to the whiskey. Who else have you got lined up, Russell? I think there's been a few dates confirmed, but
just kind of chasing around dates. But Connell's going to be Connell McKenzie. We're getting back in from Ardnamurchan. I don't have an exact date for there, but Connell's dead keen. We've got Diane Flynn from Glenmorangie, and just waiting to hear back from Charlie as well. So we'll get Charlie McLean back on.
Yeah.
So we're looking forward to that too.
And we also have who did I speak to the other day? Is Antia is keen to do another one.
Oh, and Tio's come back on. Cool.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're not sure about asking people back again, but I mean, we always said with everybody, I think that we always get to the end of the night and say we have to do a part 2.
Mm-hmm.
Matthew, you've just arrived as we're saying cheerio. I'm afraid absolutely nothing personal, but good to see you there all the same. Yeah, well, we'll give you a couple of minutes to maybe gather your resources and let us know your favourite dram of 2022 before we sign off.
So within 30 seconds, favourite dram, who do you want to have a tasting with? What books have you read? Who's your favourite independent bottler? And who has been your biggest influence in whiskey? So go.
And we did speak about the Hoff of the North, so just we give you a credit there. So you're one nation under whiskey. One nation under whiskey. Yeah, cool. So wow, that's some dram, Matthew.
Yeah. You think you're having a dram like that? You think the boy owned a whiskey shop or something?
You would, didn't you? Yeah.
Yeah. I was saying something there. I can't remember what it was now. Oh, another guest. I can't remember.
Antia. We're going to get Antia back on.
Yeah. Oh, because Kilhoman have got some really good releases coming up, kind of March, April time. I know of 3 that are coming out, so that would be it'd be good to get around to kind of.
Can you say? Are you allowed to say what they are?
I don't know. I don't want to get her in trouble. She told me, but I don't want to get her in trouble. So
okay, I don't know, so I can say whatever I think because I genuinely don't know what they are. But a couple of years ago, they had a couple of cracking red wine releases that I remember you bought a bottle at the time. And I thought that stuff looked amazing, but I didn't have a budget for it, so I didn't kind of go for it. But something like that would be amazing again. I'd love a Kilhoman in a
yeah,
maybe. there was a red wine and there was a tawny port.
The port and the wine, were both great. One I could probably say everyone will expect it is the 2023 Loch Orm release. Will be out. And the next 100% Isla is going to be later on, but and the small batch. But there's a couple of single cast stuff coming that's going to be pretty cool. We also Colin Reid, who is the Scottish ambassador for Inverhouse, is keen to jump on.
Cool.
As well. So yeah, we've got a few things on the go. So awesome. Cat.
We'll see if we can get permission to get Billy back on, maybe.
We could do that, yeah. I'm not running on for a Blether either. So.
We haven't had him on for a Blether. No, we've had him on a couple of times for tastings, but not actually a Blether.
Yeah.
That's a good
we're spitballing now, guys. Sorry. You're basically watching a staff meeting.
I know.
Apologies. You see, we're
this is exactly what it's like.
Yeah.
Usually with like a dog wandering around as well, though.
We do usually have a dog wandering around, yeah.
Yeah. I know we haven't had an animal tonight. There's normally.
No,
I'll Tony up and
Posey was up at the Banff, the Devon pet shop. Anyway, for a fitting, because she managed to pull her collar when she was out with Rachel just fairly recently. Thankfully, well away from a road, but she decided she wanted to go and confront a dog from somebody else. She didn't do anything other than go over and say hello, but obviously caused a bit of anxiety and managed to pull the collar, and then managed to actually break the collar completely up at the beach Sunday and on there. So yes, I think that's now 2 collars and 2 or 3 harnesses she's actually managed to break. So we were up for a proper fitting to the pet shop, and so she's through the house sleeping, but otherwise she might have come through and said hello.
Yeah. Happy New Year, Tobias.
Happy New Year, Tobias.
Sorry I couldn't get down to Campbellton when you were over to say hello. But good to see you, and thank you again very, very much for getting me that Robin Lang Building Bridges bottle. It has been opened, it has been enjoyed. It's not been finished yet, but
the second one.
Oh my God, whiskies of the year, Jesus!
I forgot about it.
That has to be.
Oh,
Robin Lang and the dram room in Brook wine cask. Oh,
that was a red wine cask, wasn't it? The first one was a red wine cask. So the second one sherry, was it?
No, they were both wine casks.
It was red wine. Yeah.
Oh, just beautiful. Both of them were fantastic. The second one, I think, better than the first. Building Bridges. And
if anybody wants to come to an academy, the kind of thing that sometimes happens when Mike and I get a little bit drunk and silly is we take along these bottles and they end up emptying them. Or I do anyway.
In front of your eyes, down the sink. Yeah. No, we do it. We pour them in the glasses and let you all share. Yeah. So, guys, thank you very much. I was going to speak to Kat there for a second, and then I got distracted. Next time, Kat, what we're going to do is we're going to get you a stool to sit on, so you can be a little bit higher up on the screen.
Just a cushion. That'll be good.
Maybe 2 cushions.
Oh, yeah. Not exactly set up for this tonight, but
no, you sound really clear. You've certainly not broken up.
Yeah, I know it's been like disaster free, the whole thing.
I love it. I've just noticed. I was going to say I've just noticed there's a wee Glencairn box on the shelf behind you, but it's actually the picture behind your screen. The Glencairn box on.
Yeah, there is actually. It's a good job there's nothing else on that shelf really that you can see in the reflection.
Yeah.
That's actually that's the shop. That's round in Narnia in the shop, isn't it?
Yeah. That's behind us. But guys, hopefully this is the start of many blethers this year. We'll keep you up to date on what we've got coming up. Follow us Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. We are now on Pinterest and TikTok. Wow. I know. I haven't done any TikToking yet or Pinteresting yet. I don't know if those are the correct terms, but we will be doing some more on that. So we are now available on pretty much every social media available.
Are we on OnlyFans yet?
We're not on OnlyFans. No. I was hoping you would got the foggy version of.
Once you get that bathtub Blether set up, we'll be all over OnlyFans.
Oh yeah.
Oh, foggy! I tell you, you can't tell people you're from Aberhardner anymore before somebody says, "Oh, I'm FBS."
Do you care this wifey?
Oh my. Yeah. Anyway, that's for another talking and telling fools. Yeah.
Once again, thank you very much, Kat. Thank you very much for joining us and introducing yourself, sharing your story, however brief.
Adding some much needed glamour to this to this combo that we've been flogging for the last 2 years.
Yeah. Every dead horse needs a wee filly in to liven it up a wee bit.
A bit of tinsel on there to kind of
I think it's been a long time since I was referenced as a wee filly, but I'll take that.
I've just I forgot my cap even more now because your elaborate hair has just highlighted how little I have left.
Don't hate, Michael.
I've hated my hair for a long time, or lack of it. Thank God for Kat. There's David.
Absolutely. Let's all amen, David. Amen.
Guys, it's been great to interact with you once again, and hopefully next time we see you, could be in the bar, could be in the a festival, or in the shop. But it's been great fun. Thank you very much for joining us, contributing. We'll see you next week, certainly, if not beforehand. So, a flurry of comments just come in there. Tobias, the summer timetable travelling to Isla for the Fage Isle has been published today. Booking available tomorrow. Oh, Fage Isle. Oh.
We need
I
to
don't
do
know if I
that.
could cope. I don't know if I could cope with that many people in a small space, to be honest. But
Yeah.
a trip to Isla certainly. And now that we know a few people from there as well, so I think.
Yeah, I think. I mean, I was speaking to people at Fage Isle, and somebody did tell me that the best time to go is about 2 weeks after the festival.
Yeah.
Because the week after, everyone's who works there is still a bit grumpy about the manic.
But there's probably still drunk people lying in gutters all over the place and
yeah.
on the roadside and things.
They're back up, and you might manage to snag a bottle or two from the festival.
Yeah.
But yeah, Tobias, if it's possible, and if not, certainly keen to meet you either before you travel over to Isla or after you come back. We'll maybe go down to Campbelltown, meet Dave and Callum and the guys for a wee dram down there. So absolutely, and just to say welcome to 2023 and Slangerai guys, and we'll see you again for another Blether next week. Say good night, guys.
Slange, good night. Good night, everybody. Happy New Year. All the best, everybody.
Bye.
Good night.